Hello, everyone. I'm Sonja Schmidt, and I'm a curriculum specialist at Jove. And I thank you all for joining us today here for our second session of our Research and Innovation webinar series, in which you will hear from the 2021 Jove Scientist Education and Research Innovation Award winners as they discuss the innovative solutions to advance scientific research and education. In this session, Establishing Radio Views as a Digital Platform, our 2021 Jove Researcher Innovation Award winner, Joana Kramer, will share how she worked with her team to take advantage of increased needs for digital content to create radio views, a series of short videos which engage the general public in the world of astronomy through the latest scientific results of fellow researchers. Before we proceed, I'd like to get a few housekeeping items out of the way. If you can hear me, can you please raise your hand icon on the toolbox and let me know that you can hear me? Okay, I think you can hear me. That's great. And if you would like to ask Joanna any questions, you can submit them through the Q&A section and again on your toolbox. And we will answer as many questions as we have time for during the Q&A portion at the end of our session. We also will record this webinar, and you will receive an email with a recording within the next 24 hours. And lastly, at the conclusion of the session, there will be a brief 5-question survey where we really would appreciate if you could give us your feedback so we can continue to improve our webinar. And with further ado, I'd like to introduce to you my co-panelist, Joana Kramer. She is a PhD student at the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy in Germany. Thank you for joining us here today, Joana, and over to you.
Thank you, Sonja. I quickly share my screen before I go ahead. I hope you can also hear me well and that you are able now to see my presentation. First of all, I would like to say again, thank you for honoring us with the Jove 2021 Researcher Innovation Award. It actually hurts a bit to put my fingers on this beautiful award. And I also would like to thank you for inviting me to give a talk on behalf of the team to explain a little bit of our procedure at Radio Views today. So let's start. Expressing your scientific ideas and results in the form of images, video, and sound, and making these available on a suitable platform for easy access is probably the best strategy for effective communication of your research in the future. To help facilitate these ideas, a team of faculty members of the VLBI Very Long Baseline Interferometry group at the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy invented and founded Radio Views. So let's introduce the people behind the radio. Obviously, we are all radio astronomers, but I would like to contribute a greater part of the talk to introduce the members of Radio Views. So first of all, First of all, I would like to start with Professor Dr. Anton Census. He is the director of the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy and the VLBI department. He founded the International Max Planck Research School, of which most of us are PhD students and/or alumni. When visiting the 100-meter radio telescope in Effelsberg at a very fell in love with radio astronomy and became a successful astronomer. In 2019, he published the very first image of a black hole as a founder chairman of the Event Horizon Telescope collaboration. He's a great role model when it comes to video series, and there are also interviews on his website and introductory videos of his team at the VLBI group. So check out his website as well. Then the next one is Professor Dr. Eduardo Ross. He is a staff scientist at the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy in Bonn again, and an astrophysicist professor on leave at the University de Valencia in Spain. He's insatiably curious with broad interest in areas like cinema, history, literature, languages, photography, or even soccer, and of course, astronomy. He has a passion for popular communication tool and a vaccine against ignorance and bigotry, and as motivation to bring science to the youngest. Speaking of science, bringing science to youngest, he's also my PhD supervisor and the former supervisor of the other member here listed, Dr. Felix Petzel. But now let's go to Dr. Mikhail Lysakov. With his 35 years, he's born as a millennial, who are the first generation growing up in the internet age. So he's a perfect fit for our little project at Radio Views. He enjoys astronomy and space science and helps the department to be aware of outside projects like astrobytes, for example. As a staff of the VBI department, he's still learning the optimal work-life balance. And Misha is also a very strong believer in videos taking over science, which you can be prepared for a little premiere later. The next one I'd like to introduce is Dr. Thalia Traianu, which is she's actually the founder of Radio Views. She had the idea and invented Radio Views together with Professor Dr. Anton Census. Thalia is an enthusiastic scientist and skygazer. She loves to take pictures of landscapes, clouds, relativistic jets, as well as black holes. She topped Misha's answer by asking, what is work-life balance actually? And she wisely said that knowledge, same as joy, increases by sharing. Then I'd like to introduce Dr. Felix Petzel. He finished his PhD this year at the age of 29, right in time before he's turning 30 years old. Felix is a Bonn native and likes the city that much that he did all his undergraduate studies and his PhD there as well. He's a music enthusiast and sometimes plays some music as well. Science communication in every form, so talks, videos, and articles, and was actually a part of the team of Astronomy on Tap in Bonn. And finally, myself. I'm Joana Kramer, as you may know by now. I'm a moon lover, and I'm currently doing my PhD, and my PhD is actually focused on 3 elements in physics, which I never wanted to do. It's theoretical astrophysics, programming, and polarization. But since I'm doing it now, I really love what I'm doing. I still need to adjust to a scientific career. And after working honorary at a shelter, I adopted cats from Romania. Though we have a lot in common in our research interests in relativistic jets and active galactic nuclei, we still cover a large range of interests. I put some statements all members were so nice to prepare for me on this slide. And of course, our group also focuses on observations with the Effelsberg telescope, as well as radio interferometry. We are still growing and changing. So we got a new team member, Luca Ricci. Luca graduated in Turin in Italy. And a fun fact, we actually met before we both even started our PhD in Bonn in Turin at a conference. This is why I love science. We are all connected all over the world. And here's the point for Radio Views. We all missed to go on conferences for nearly 2 years now. Conferences were the perfect spots to advertise your research and present new results. Radio Views found a small but efficient way to still advertise our work and to spread knowledge. Luca fits perfectly because he loves to talk about science, and his goal is actually to become a science communicator. And he cleverly answered to Misha and Thalia that he will never learn work-life balance. And again, as you see in the statement here, we are all combining jet formation and evolution in active galactic nuclei as a topic of interest. So I'll talk a little bit more about radio views. A short interview, mainly focused on an introduction to the researcher's field of interest, and or a summary of the latest publication is presented on 3 platforms. First, on our very own YouTube channel, where we present our short videos on the researcher's field of interest. Secondly, our Twitter page, where we spread the videos, try to be up to date, and try to support any other radio astronomical projects by sharing their posts. Our latest post here in the image congratulates the 3 Nobel Prize winners in physics. And third, we created our own website embedded in the website of the Max Planck Institute for Radio Astronomy. We upload the videos as well as the cited publications and a short description of the project the researcher is talking about. As you see here, Radio Views is focused on spreading knowledge in astrophysical and high energy topics within our group. We wanted to provide a platform where each of the group members can share and advertise his or her research and the latest scientific publications. Similar to the great idea of the Jove journal to be a video supporting journal, we think it's a great and intuitive way to explain and highlight each publication within our group. So I just wanted to show you the latest, the 5 Radio Views episodes, which we were able to produce this year. And that you can also see for each Radio Views video, there is a cited publication, which you can see, which you can find under the titles, which are listed here on arXiv, for example, or in listed journals such as Astronomy and Astrophysics or APJ. Talking about the procedure. So for that, we firstly seek for speakers every week in our AI department. We shared a timesheet and found slots where we are available for any interested person to be filmed and speak about his or her research. We try then to reach out to them and provide new content every 2 months. This little project is really our balancing to a strict day of an astronomer, because we are all working on our own projects, but we love to support each and everyone within our group. And once we found a date and a speaker, we asked them to provide a little sheet, or cheat sheet, actually, with a little talk about the science which they want to provide for us in a video. Normally, we try to aim videos about 2 to 3 minutes, which then basically summarize in a broad context their topic. With our speakers together, we try to find the perfect spot for shooting the video. Sometimes it drives us back to our lovely library, but we are also sometimes at more extraordinary places, such as the 100-meter telescope in Effelsberg, which you can see here in the image, where Felix, Thalia, and Misha went to produce Thalia's video. We improve and further, we improvise currently a little bit with our expertise and equipment. Every one of us should be able to handle both camera and sound and provides tips for the speakers how to behave. With our institute's camera and the second improvised camera, we try to film the speakers at different angles and different positions. From the we hope to improve both our equipment and the skills to work with the raw material, since we are fairly new at this. And finally, I'd like to share now the premiere of the new Radio Views video. which is not yet online, but I will take it online as soon as the webinar ends. But I'm glad to show you now for the first time the new video featuring Dr. Michael Lisakov speaking about his latest publication. So enjoy.
Welcome to a new ReadyViews video featuring today's staff member, Dr. Michael Lisakov, speaking about his new publication, an oversized magnetic sheath wrapping around the parcel scale jet in 3C273.
Relativistic jets from active galactic nuclei are being studied for 50 years already. Do you think there is nothing left to discover? No, there are still plenty of mysteries. For example, we know that relativistic jets can change their orientation in the sky. Also, we know that there is some thermal matter that surrounds the relativistic jet. So, can a relativistic jet interact with this matter while it swings? Or maybe we can explain some extreme events with this interaction. Unfortunately, with current telescopes, we cannot directly observe this matter, but we know that it can rotate the plane of polarization of the relativistic jet emission. This effect is called Faraday rotation. For this research, we have chosen a jet that swings a lot in the sky, and we have studied its Faraday rotation in different orientations. We have found that Faraday rotation is noticeably different while the jet takes different positions in the sky. Moreover, these changes can be well explained with a model where toroidal magnetic field is threading. This idea is not new per se. What is new is that this thermal material is not in a close contact with the relativistic jet. It surrounds a conical channel that is wider than the relativistic jet itself. It looks like a pencil in an ice cream cone. While the jet swings, it highlights different portions of this surrounding material. Hence, we see different Faraday rotations. So at least now we know that there is a broad conical channel dedicated to the relativistic jet. And we know that slower thermal matter surrounds this broad conical channel. What fills this broad channel besides relativistic particles? Can it be that we see relativistic jet only when the turbulence is developing in it? You see, there are still plenty of questions and a lot of interesting things to learn. You may find all the details about this research in our recent publications. Check the link below and have fun with jets. Bye.
Okay, with our latest episode, I'd like to thank all of you for joining and watching, and thanks again for inviting me to give the talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Joana, for sharing your experiences and your insight. And yeah, let's take a look now at the questions of our audience. And yeah, if you haven't put your question in the Q&A section yet, please feel free to continue asking your questions while we answer the ones we already got. Okay, so one question we got for you, Joana, is you mentioned yourself that you are quite new to this filming. What was your biggest challenge getting ReadyViews produced and get it out there?
I think the greatest challenge is to edit the video material, actually. I guess it's also, I mean, Talia, we are very thankful to Talia because she took the main part at the beginning and she had the idea and invented ReadyViews. And she also taught me at the beginning, since it was Talia and me at the beginning. And she taught me how to handle the camera and the sound. So that was very helpful, and she had some experience, expertise with it already, because as I said, she loves to take images and videos of landscapes and clouds and relativistic jets. So she taught me, and that was really helpful. I'm not trying to spread knowledge again to the new members, but I think the hardest part is still to edit the material, because that is something all of us never did before. And I think it's really hard to get the best sound out of the material, but we are trying and we want to improve further.
It's already quite impressive what you have achieved. Another question is how were your videos perceived on Twitter, and what feedback did you get regarding your new attempt of outreach?
On YouTube, we got a few subscribers and we got a lot of views. So we are very happy that our videos are actually shared and watched. And on Twitter, many people, of course, congratulated us for the award, but also sharing our posts and therefore sharing our videos, which is very important for us. And we also try to post the new videos within a more topic-related group on Facebook. And there's also a great feedback that people are interested and also further want to discuss and work together about the research behind that.
And let me check what else we got. So who would you say mostly is watching these videos? Is it more researchers still, or do you actually get also response from the public?
I think since our main followers on Twitter are scientists and especially radio scientists, I think that most of our followers and those who are watching the videos are from our own field of research.
Okay. And the next question is, if someone else in a different topic area wants to repeat what you've done, what kind of advice could you give them? What not to do? What have you learned basically so far from your experiences?
Actually, I think the main thing that I learned is that you, best of all, document all of it. In the best case, you have a document, a sheet which you can share with new members and provide for further generations to continue with the same project.
We got one more question, and what are typically the most important features from papers that you are highlighting in your videos, and the background method, results or conclusions, and what is the optimal length of the videos?
Yeah, since the videos are only 2 to 3 minutes long, I think the main message of the videos are always the results, the conclusions we have. But some of the videos are also focusing on a more wider and larger introduction to the field. So I think especially Thalia's video gives a nice introduction into relativistic jets at all.
Okay, if there are no further questions, I think we are coming to an end. There's just a reminder for everyone that this webinar has been recorded and that you will receive an email with a recording. Also, I'd like to highlight that we have 2 more sessions coming up. One is Adapting International Research Conferences to Virtual Web-Based Systems. That's on Wednesday, the 13th of October at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and 4 p.m. Central European Standard Time. And then we have the live streaming, The Unseen, How to Use Real-Time Video Streaming in the Lab. That one is on Thursday, the 14th of October at 11 a.m. Eastern Time and 5 p.m. Central European Standard Time. Please make sure you sign up for this. And I would like to thank Joana again and I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. And yeah, I wish you all a great day, rest of the day, good evening, and thank you, Joanna.